Many things are still a baffling mystery in our world. Science doesn't quite yet have all the answers or all the keys to unlock the secrets of our universe. Every day somewhere someone sees something they can't explain. Something that we're told is not there, is not real, or simply doesn't exist. Too many reliable people tell of sightings and encounters with the unknown. The myths, legends, folklore, and old wives' tales are usually based in fact and in reality. When a witness to such a strange encounter finds no one believes them and faces ridicule from people they trust and love, they turn to us, the Alabama Bigfoot Society. From the heart of the South, this is Alabama Adventures. Well, hello boys and girls, and welcome to this Alabama adventure. Today it's turned back off wintertime, and as you can tell, it's kind of getting foggy. It's raining, wind's trying to blow, and it's cold. We've had a real nice fall here in Alabama. It's been real warm, but last couple of days it's turned off winter. And that's what I'm going to tell you about these two Bigfoot sightings that happened in the winter. They both happened on Christmas Eve. So I call it the Christmas Eve Bigfoot. So anyway, let's get on back to the shack, and I'll tell you about these two Christmas Eve Bigfoot sightings. And so now let's get this story started of a Christmas Eve Sasquatch. The first story, I have two as a matter of fact, but anyway, this is the first one. It began in Alexander City. The man that told me this story, that's where he worked, and he was working there on Christmas Eve. Anyway, it was a windy, cold day, and this little light rain had begun to fall, and it had got a little bit heavier. It was not a very hard rain, but it was drizzling on down, I guess you could call it out there. And to top everything else off, around noontime that day, this heavy, thick fog began to set into town. And all the children out there that's listening to this, I know you will remember that storybooks that you've read or been read to you, whatever, that on a night like this, on a very foggy night, is when old Santa Claus has to get Rudolph out to lead the team around the world on his yearly flight. Now, this first Bigfoot sighting, Christmas Eve Bigfoot sighting I'm going to tell you about, happened on Christmas Eve 2002. I'm going to call the man who told me this, I'm going to call his name Dave. That's not his real name, but that's what we're going to call him. We always keep identities secret. Anyway, Dave worked at a major discount department store, a Walmart, in Alexander City, Alabama. And the store would always open 24 hours a day. Only one day a year, Christmas Day, was this particular store closed. Tonight, however, was Christmas Eve, and the store would close early. It would close at 6 p.m. and would not reopen until 6 a.m. on December the 26th. But just because it closed at 6 p.m. didn't mean that all the employees would be leaving at that particular time. There was a lot that had to be done. Cash registers had to be closed and totaled. Shopping carts had to be rounded up in the parking lot and secured. Outside displays that couldn't be brought inside had to be locked and chained down. Of course, after that, the store had to be completely walked over and searched to make sure nobody was hiding inside the store that might try to rob it while all the employees were gone. There were just a lot of things that had to be done before everybody could get to go home. There was about another hour and a half or maybe 2 hours work for the employees after the doors were locked on this particular night. But everyone worked fast because many, like Dave, had plans for the night. Several had their family Christmas get-togethers on this particular night, and they were all in a hurry to get there. And so it was with Dave. His girlfriend's family were having their Christmas celebration on this particular night. And when he was finally able to leave the store, it was somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock p.m. And just before leaving Alexander City, while he was gassing up his truck, he phoned his parents to tell them that he would be coming by their house to pick up the Christmas gifts that he had there for his girlfriend and her family. So as he headed home, because the roads had kind of got packed and matter of fact, traffic was pretty much bumper to bumper, he decided to take a little shortcut or a little back way home. He decided to take a little dirt road, which was a very well kept dirt road, but that's the way he decided to come home that night. Okay, now the area along this little dirt road was just forest. There wasn't anything at all. It was just forest in all directions for miles and miles. There was nothing but woods, and it was a very old woods. But in the last month or so, someone had done some logging in the area along one section of this road, and it had extended about a half a mile or so back into the forest. And this was the first logging, like I said, in decades that had been done to this forest. So anything could be hiding or living in this particular part of the forest. But anyway, Dave had traveled this road numerous times in the past. And he knew the road was well kept, and he knew what to expect around every bend and every little turn. But tonight, as he hurried along, all at once, he passed something that was standing right on the side of the road. Something that he had not seen before. Now, you know the way you'll sometimes see something and it takes a few seconds for it to register with you in your mind exactly what it was. Well, that's what happened to Dave on this particular night. His mind was on Christmas and a little get-together that he was headed to. And at first, he thought it was just a big bushy tree that he had seen right there on the side of the road. But then he thought, well, there were no trees along the roadway. So he thought about it for a little bit, and in his mind, he could remember and see the shape of this thing. The more he thought about it, the more he realized that it was an ape-looking creature or object, whatever it was. The more he thought about it, he remembered that it had legs, it had a body, seemed like there were arms, and after he thought about it a little bit longer, well, there was actually a head. So then he thought, well, it wasn't a bush after all, as he first thought. It was something hairy. And now right here is a little illustration that I asked him to draw for me after he contacted me the next day or so and was telling me about this. He did this little illustration of what it looked like to him as he went by it that night. But anyway, what he did, he went on up the road a little ways, and the more he thought about it, the more he wanted to go back. And that's what he did. He found a place to turn around, and he drove back down the road to where he had seen this thing, and there wasn't anything there. So he goes on down the dirt road a little bit further and turns around again so he can come on back on his way home. And he's looking real close this time as he comes by the little spot where he thought it was. And again, he didn't see anything that time. So whatever it was something live. It wasn't a tree or a bush. And the more he said that he thought about it, the more that it was something covered in hair out there. So this is a little illustration that I did after he told me the encounter. And this is illustration of where a Bigfoot stood on the side of the road in a cold rain one night. And anyway, I got him to carry me back over there a little bit later on to sort of show me where it was. And, you know, like I said, it was raining that night, and there might have possibly been a track or something left over there. And we looked, we didn't find any tracks. A lot of traffic had gone down the road, I guess, deer hunting and that type of stuff over the day or two that we didn't get back down there. But anyway, what it was when we went back over there and he showed me where it was, to my surprise, I guess you would say, where he saw this Bigfoot or Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it, was right in the middle of what we call Whippoorwill Hollow. And that was a place that we had been staking out at that particular time, listening and watching, searching for Bigfoot. So it's a very, very high possibility that that was exactly what he saw standing on the side of the road over there, was a Bigfoot, because, as I said, it was right in the middle of Whippoorwill Hollow. Okay, that was one Bigfoot Christmas Eve sighting, and now I'm going to tell you another one. But first, I'm going to show you my shirt. Let me stand up real quick. Now, how you like that shirt? Down here at the bottom it says, "Can you handle the truth?" Some folks can, some folks can't. Anyway, if you'd like one of these shirts, it's a UFO that's abducting Bigfoot. If you would like one of these shirts, just go on the website. We're going to have them for sale over there, so appreciate you picking up one of those. Anyway, let me tell you about this Christmas Eve Bigfoot. This was one that I actually saw back in 2013. Okay, so what happened, I was going down the road and looked over to the side, and there he was. But anyway, there's a little bit more to it than that. let me sort of get everything set like I usually do for you. It just like the previous Bigfoot sighting. It was a cold, windy afternoon. It had been that way all day, and it was misting a pretty hard rain. It was on about 4:30 to 5 o'clock. It was, matter of fact, it was beginning to get dark because of the time of the year and the time change and everything. And as I was going down the road, it got a little foggier and a little foggier the further down the road that I was traveling on, the further I went. But anyway, I was headed down Highway 22, and I was going into Zana. And I know you know of Zana. There have been so many things that we've talked about Zana on here. But that's where this Bigfoot sighting occurred. It was in a little field just before you get to Zana. Well, it was right on the edge of Zana. Let me just put it like that. Anyway, as I said, not make it real long and not make it real short, I was going down the road, and there was fog beginning to form like out in the pine thickets and in the forest. I had noticed that. And there were some little clouds of fog coming across the road. It was just a kind of a little dreary Christmas Eve afternoon and beginning to be into that night. But anyway, I went on, as I was going along, I always keep an eye out for signs or any some type of movement or whatever to see if I can see a Bigfoot. And I guess that's what I was doing this afternoon. As I passed this little field, I looked over to the left, and sure enough, there was a Bigfoot walking through the fog out in this little field, and he was walking toward a pine thicket. And this is a picture of that particular spot right there. But for some reason, both of these Bigfoot sightings were in the same type of weather. Mist and rain pretty hard, very cold, windy, and fog. Now, I'm sure that's when they like to get out. It sort of camouflages them in a little bit better. And had I not really been looking for a Bigfoot, I probably would not have seen this one. What I saw to begin with was kind of an outline, a dark outline. And of course, I hit my brakes and began to slow down to where I could get a better look at him. I only probably got to see him for around maybe 5 seconds or so as I was going down the road, but he never paid me any attention or anything whenever I let off the gas and put the brakes on. But that was 2 Bigfoot sightings on Christmas Eve. So if you're out this Christmas Eve, you might want to keep an eye out on what's moving on the side of the road or out in little fields or whatever. You never know when you're going to see one, and you never know where at. And I hope you enjoyed those 2 Bigfoot stories of the Christmas Eve Bigfoot. And as I always do in these videos, I'd like to say hello to my granddaughter Madison. I'd also like to tell you that the Alabama Bigfoot Society is run completely out of pocket. If you like this video, I hope you give us a like. And if you like what we're doing down here with our paranormal research and our Bigfoot research, would hope that you would subscribe to the channel. If you would like to make a donation and you're in a position to where you can, just go to our website, alabamabigfootsociety.com, and there on the front page you'll find a place to where you can make a donation of either money or equipment. We have a donation button there on the front for the money. If you have equipment you would like to donate and it's too large to mail, if you'll just contact me through the Contact Us page and tell me what you have and everything, then I'll make arrangements to get with you, and we would be more than happy to take whatever you have. Also, keep in mind that the Alabama Bigfoot Society is a non-profit society, so your donation would be tax deductible. I have a lot of people sometimes ask me, well, what type of equipment do you need? What can we pass along to you? Well, we'll take anything from a flashlight on a camera, a vehicle, just whatever you have that you would like to donate would be very much appreciated, and we'll be sure to put it to use. Here the other day I went to the post office and someone had sent a couple of real nice flashlights, and I won't call his name, but I just wanted to let him know that we certainly appreciate those and they can be used. I had someone else a while back to ask me what type of equipment that we might need, and I named over a couple of things, and he said, you know, it would be a whole lot easier if I just went and purchased a gift card and just sent that to you. Then you could get what you needed. And yes, we will accept gift cards like that from places like Walmart or Bass Pro or just wherever you need to get one at. We'll be more than happy to take a gift card. I was trying to think of the other place. The reason I said Bass Pro, we do get some camping equipment, outdoor equipment there. We can also get that at Walmart, but we have purchased it there before. Something else I want you to keep in mind that I'm trying to work on is in our motto up there on the website. It says we're dedicated to the research and preservation of this creature and his habitat. And that's what we're working on now. We would like to get hold of some land that we could set aside that would never be developed, and have it for not only Bigfoot but other forest creatures as well. And like I said, keep that in mind. We're working on that particular thing right now. But I guess I'd better go. I know this ending's getting a little bit long. And I hope you, as I said, I hope you enjoyed this Alabama adventure, getting close to Bigfoot. And I'll see you next time on the next Alabama adventure.